Picture a chimpanzee staring directly at you from 3 feet away. You cannot tell where its eyes are pointed. Its iris and pupil sit inside a dark brown sclera, and the whole eye reads as one solid, unreadable dot. It could be looking at your face. It could be looking at the branch behind your head. You genuinely cannot tell. Now picture a human doing the exact same thing. You know instantly. You could point to the exact spot they're looking at from across a room in a fraction of a second without even trying. That difference comes down to a tiny strip of white tissue most of us have never once thought about. It's called the sclera, and humans are the only primates on Earth who evolved it to be bright, visible, and impossible to hide. That single change may be one of the most important things that ever happened to our species. You're watching Brain on a Leash, where we dig into the strange evolutionary leftovers still steering modern behavior. Here's the puzzle. In almost every other corner of the animal kingdom, hiding your gaze is an advantage. A predator that reveals exactly where it's about to strike gives its prey a warning. A prey animal that reveals it has spotted the predator gives away the element of surprise it needs to escape. Across millions of years of evolution, animals that could mask where they were looking generally did better than animals who couldn't. So why would a species do the opposite? Why would evolution take something that's usually a liability, being easy to read, and turn it into a defining trait? In 2001, researchers Hiromi Kobayashi and Shiro Koshima ran a comparative study looking at the eyes of dozens of primate species. They measured something surprisingly simple: how much contrast exists between the sclera and the iris in each species' eyes. Almost every non-human primate they studied had dark, low-contrast sclera, nearly camouflaged against the iris, making gaze direction genuinely difficult to detect. Humans were the dramatic outlier. Our sclera is roughly twice as exposed as other apes, and the contrast between white sclera and colored iris is unmatched anywhere else in the primate world. Kobayashi and Koshima proposed something now known as the Cooperative Eye Hypothesis. The idea is that visible eyes weren't a mistake or a side effect. They were selected for, specifically because being readable became more valuable than being hidden. Here's the sentence worth remembering. Evolution usually rewards animals for hiding their intentions. Humans are the one species evolution rewarded for revealing them. Think about what that actually requires. For visible eyes to become an advantage rather than a liability, you need a very specific kind of social environment, one where most of the people looking at you are not predators or rivals, but collaborators. Early humans lived in small, interdependent groups where survival depended on cooperation, coordinated hunting, shared childcare, collective defense. In that environment, being able to instantly know where someone else is looking wasn't dangerous. It was incredibly useful. Imagine a small hunting party stalking prey through tall grass. If everyone's eyes are hidden, coordinating an ambush means talking, and talking gives away your position. But if you can silently follow a hunting partner's gaze to the animal they've spotted, you can coordinate an entire strategy without making a sound. The same visibility that would get a solitary predator killed becomes a communication system for a cooperative one. That single shift changes almost everything downstream. Take teaching. You can't effectively teach someone a skill if you can't tell what they're looking at. A parent showing a child how to tie a fiber into a snare or shape a stone into a blade relies constantly on shared gaze. Look here. Now look at what my hands are doing. Now look back at me. Psychologist Michael Tomasello has spent decades studying this exact mechanism in human infants, and the results are striking. Human babies begin reliably following an adult's gaze direction by around 9 to 12 months old, often before they can speak a single word. Chimpanzees, even hand-raised alongside humans, are dramatically less skilled at this, and what gaze following they do show tends to track head direction rather than eye direction specifically, because their eyes simply don't give away as much information. Has this ever happened to you? You're in a group conversation, and without a single word being spoken, everyone's eyes suddenly flick toward the door because someone new walked in. That silent, near instantaneous shared attention is the cooperative eye hypothesis playing out in real time, right in your living room. Now here's where it gets more complicated and more honest. Visible eyes should, in theory, make lying harder. If everyone can see exactly where you're looking, deception becomes riskier. And yet humans lie constantly, skillfully, and often successfully. So did evolution's bet backfire? Not exactly. Visible eyes didn't eliminate deception. They raised its price. Reading gaze became such a powerful, automatic human skill that liars had to get better too, learning to control their eye contact deliberately, to hold a gaze a beat longer than natural, to mask the flicker that gives away a lie. The arms race didn't go away. It just moved up a level, from hiding your eyes to controlling what your visible eyes communicate. The cooperative eye system didn't make humans incapable of deception. It made deception a skill that has to be learned. rather than something built in for free, the way it is for a chimpanzee that never reveals its gaze at all. This is also why staring feels so loaded. Your brain has an entire, largely unconscious system dedicated to tracking other people's gaze direction in real time, because for most of human history, knowing where someone was looking told you something important. Are they a threat? An ally? Paying attention to you? Ignoring you? When someone holds eye contact a little too long, that ancient tracking system fires overtime, and it reads as significant whether it's meant to be intimidating, flirtatious, or simply awkward. You're not imagining that discomfort. You're running software that's been in continuous use for a very long time. Zoom out far enough, and the sclera stops looking like a minor anatomical footnote and starts looking like one of the load-bearing pillars of human civilization. Shared attention makes teaching possible. Teaching makes cumulative culture possible, each generation building on what the last one figured out instead of starting from zero. Trust built through visible, readable intent makes large-scale cooperation possible, coordinating with people well beyond your immediate family group. Take away the ability to instantly read where another person is looking, and an enormous amount of what makes human society function quietly stops working. All of that running on a strip of tissue most of us have spent our entire lives never once actively thinking about. So the next time you catch someone's eyes across a room, or feel that unmistakable pull when a stranger's gaze locks onto yours, you're witnessing the same ancient signaling system that let a small hunting party silently coordinate an ambush 50,000 years ago. Evolution took a species-wide risk on visibility, and that risk is the quiet reason you're capable of trusting a stranger at all. If this reframed something you'd never thought twice about, that's exactly the kind of strange evolutionary leftover we dig into around here. Go check out our earlier deep dive if you want another one of these small biological details that quietly shapes enormous parts of modern life. Until next time, keep your brain on a leash.